So we got Higher Enlightenment J.O. Jonathan Oliver here with Storytime Tuesday going down today. And the way this story came about is I started thinking about the opinions that people have had about me growing out my hair. So I haven't cut my hair since August, okay? It's the longest it's ever been. Right now I kind of have it twisted. If it's not twisted, I have a nice little fro that's going right now. So this is the longest my hair has ever been in my entire life. I'm 38 years old. I've always cut a clean cut, haircut style. And as I started growing my hair out, I started hearing a lot of opinions. I would say about 70-30. 70% of them are like, man, that's great, that's awesome, I see the vision, I see where you're going, very encouraging, blah, 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 blah. And then other 30% are like, man, you look like a thug, your hair is nappy, you need to cut that. Kind of ironic that most of those people who say those things can't really grow their hair out. Side note. And I started, you hear the whole cliche, don't let people opinions of you shape who you are and all those things. And not to get too serious, because it brought up a real funny story that I remembered from college. And I started thinking to myself, all these opinions about my hair, and it's my hair first off, so I can do whatever I want. And I'm guilty as anyone else as giving my opinion when it's not asked for. So most of the time these opinions are just blurted out versus actually solicited. But be there as it may, this is not the most dramatic thing I've ever done with my hair. See, when I was in college, it was during the Sisqó era with thong to thong thong thong. So my hair was a totally different experience. I went to college in Abilene, Texas, okay, where they at one point had more churches, not churches chicken, okay? I'm talking churches where you go and worship, quote unquote, the Lord, all right? Even though he's just not in church, but that's another story itself. More churches in Abilene there were fountains in Rome. I mean, it's a lot of churches in Abilene, Texas. On top of that, they had one of the highest pregnancy rates, so I don't know how that works out. But anyway, to the story. When I was in college, I had blonde hair, and it was based off of watching Sisqó, and the whole experience itself was quite dramatic. It was dang like scary, because you mix up, first you have to grow your hair out, and it wasn't as long as it was now, so it's kind of long but not really, kind of nice and tight. And once you grow your hair out, you put like this highlight type stuff that you're supposed to keep on your hair for a certain amount of time. The first time I did it, I kept it on there right on the money, and it came out nice, beautiful, rich blonde hair. Perfect. Got a nice little fade with it, looked good. The second time I did it, I got carried away, left it on a little too long, and I came out like my man. I had that feeling like my man Denzel Washington in Malcolm X when he's trying to like straighten his hair out, and he can't find a place to like put water on his hair, and it starts burning, and he's like, shorty, we need to get some water because this is not fun anymore. Yeah, I left it on a little too long the second time, and it came out kind of like white, like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. So that's a whole nother experience. But the first time I dyed my hair blonde, and I'm in college, and it's in Abilene, Texas, and I go to a private university called Hardin-Simmons University, private Baptist university, and they had 3 big-time universities there. They were all church-related, church-affiliated. The other one was Abilene Christian Church of Christ, and the other one was McMurray Methodist. And we all had our different cliches of being church schools. My school was, you're Baptist, so you don't dance. ACU Church of Christ had a whole nother set of like, it was just insane. Like, you weren't even allowed to be in the same pool with someone of the opposite sex if you were going swimming at ACU. And then McMurray, they had their own set of rules and everything as well. So on my campus, it was no co-ed campus. Everything was strict. Everything was based off of Baptist principles and things of that nature. So imagine me with blonde hair at a Baptist university where there are more churches in this particular town of 115,000 people than there are fountains in Rome, Italy. And I walk into church for the first time, a pretty much all black church, with my white girlfriend at the time, with blonde hair. Needless to say, they stopped preaching, okay? The preacher he was in the middle. I was late. They stopped preaching, all right? And I kid you not, I think they put a whole bottle of olive oil all over my face and head, trying to like wash away the sins. And this is a guy who grew up with my great grandmother, where you wore your absolute best on Sundays to go to church. I never went to church without a tie until I was a sophomore in college. So to walk in with blonde hair flipped everybody out. And here I am now, just growing my hair out just to have the experience of something new and different. And people are making assumptions that I'm possibly a thug or this or that based off of just my hair looking different, just because it's change. And it's kind of funny because change brings up all types of different feelings and opinions, different discomforts, different of experiences that come about with change, and a lot of it is a resist on how I'm going to look, how I'm going to be perceived. And a lot of times, even in myself, I've found I've been very guilty of not wanting to press forward or move forward in life based off of afraid of what people's opinions of me may say, even though they're not true. And even as I get older, I have to be willing to step into that light and say, hey, that's their opinion, but that's not who I am. That doesn't shape me, the person. And I'm willing to do something different, look different, try something different, experience something different, just so that I can have the connection of doing something different versus living in this little box of what people shape me into be. So this is my little story time Tuesday of remembering a time when I had blonde hair representing Sisqó back in college at an all private Baptist university in a town that was pretty much had more churches than you can imagine. And I'm walking around of like, and on my campus at the time, I think it was 2,500 students and maybe like 45, 50 black. And this cat was doing this right here. So so that's it. So I hope you got something out of it for yourself. This is J.O. Higher Enlightenment. Thanks for tuning in for Storytime Tuesday today, and make it a great one.